alright
ما بعرف شو تليفونك
بلشنا حطه دو نوت ديسترب. تعرف شو كنت مفكر اليوم قبل ما نقول هاي للجاست؟
شو
انه لازم يكون في شيء محل تياب سبونسر لنا انه هذا الشميز لبسها شي 18 مره صرت انا بالبودكاست بس نغير يعني قبل
انا هي جديده بلشنا يعني بدي اقول alright.
لا بلشنا
alright Anton, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tony Mahfoud. It's a pleasure having you here. We were looking forward for this.
Yes sir.
طيب خبرنا عنك.
شو بدك تعرف؟
نعمل interview job interview. Tell me about yourself.
لا هلا نحن يوجولي بنبلش انه كيف جيت على امريكا بركي كان في شي experience to share مع حدا فبريفلي اذا بدك انت ليه هون كيف انت بامريكا و we go from there.
Yeah. أنا originally خلقت هون وكان باي يجي يشتغل ويمكن كان تجي تزوره so she did the right thing اجت خلفتني هون ورجعنا عشان بلبنان توفى باي كان عمري 4 سنين so أمي قضت أنا شت 8 سنين عم جرب تشتغل شغلين تتربيني أنا وعندي أختان كبار أكبر مني so it became too much إنه ما عادش فيها بقى you know keep up with everything that needs to happen there so قررت تيجي لهون جبتني أنا وأختي الوسطانية the oldest one she couldn't come كان عمره 18 سنة so
okay.
so ما عطوها الفيزا.
أنت الوحيد كنت خلقان هون؟ أوكي.
so لما جيت هون عطوها المام أنا شي 6 أشهر قالوا لها يا بتتجوزي بيطلع لك الجرين كارد أو بترجع على لبنان so I'm a good thing طلعت بواحد friend they got married ودنا نعمل البيبرز وبلشنا الأوراق مشان أختي بلبنان
أوكي
واشتغلنا الأوراق 18 سنة و they finally got it this year.
أوف
18 years.
انت هلا خبرتنا شوي من شوي بس انه you failed to mention it took 18 years.
18 years.
أوف
so كانت أختي عزبة تجوزت صار عندها 3 أولاد وهلا the oldest one is going to be going to college here.
Damn. Wow. It took only that long
ليك بس did it get delayed من وراء انه صار هي her family صار تكبر يعني صار يزيد الابليكنتس معه او مش هيك
شوي هيك انه كل ما خلق واحد some of the papers had to restart بس I don't know the last 3 years it was like in limbo انه كان بالامباسي سكروا الامباسي
اوكي
عرفت كيف هلا اخيرا بعد جمعتين بيصيروا هون انه feel complete.
اوكي
دام
انت بجيتوا لهون يعني بس امك جابتك لهون انت واختك كان في فاميلي كان في حدا
خاله لبيه كان هون استقبلنا ببيته
اوكي
كان هو ومرته وعنده ابنه عمره كان 31 سنة بس حرام كان معاق شوي
اوكي
so بيروح على بيت وبيجي على الويكند بيقضيها معهم he was like autistic وهن كان عنده بس one bedroom so نحن لما جينا قعدنا معهم كنا ننام أنا وأمي وأختي بأوضة القعدة sofa bed 6 أشهر أخيرا بدنا نجيب بيت وقعدنا ب one bedroom قضيناها شي سنتين قدرت أمي finally تاخد لون وتجيب بيت 3 bedrooms كل واحد منا صار عنا bedroom it was rough.
بس أمك sounds like she's a superstar.
عن جد superhero.
Superhero عن جد.
Superhero yeah.
خلي لك إياها man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Damn that's quite the journey.
Yeah so هلا بنقضيها كل حياتنا هلا I'm trying to repay her.
Of course.
Making her life easier.
كيف؟
That's good.
بس قضيت كتير حرام.
بس يعني hopefully hard work pays off يعني عرفت كيف؟
إنه أخيراً بعد جمعتين رح تشوف كل ولادها بفرد محل. It's beautiful. أخذت 18 years. I know my oldest nephew is now 18 years. أخذت 18 years for all the grandkids to be together.
That took some time. توني اوكي خلقت هون ومشي حالك وكملت وكان شو what did you do after شو بتعمل شو عم تشتغل شو
so لما جيت كنت ما بعرف إنجليزي كتير so كنت أعرف عربي obviously و French و English was very difficult for me so حطوني ب classes that was not good for me like I was left behind basically is what I say عارف كيف إنه they didn't service me well in school. So I عملت basically goal for myself, and I wanted to become an educator. I said I want to be a teacher to do better for kids that were left behind like I was, because I wasn't supported by teachers. So went to school, graduated, became a high school teacher, but I always looked at like what's next, like, you know, شو في بعد. You know, I love teaching, بس بدي, you know, I was trapped in between walls, and شو في بعد الصف, شو في أعمل. So I became math coach معناتها بتمرن teachers.
Math teachers.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You teach them how to teach.
Exactly. بتعلمون كيف يعلموا. عملت that for a couple of years وفت بالأدتك. الأدتك جابوا لعنا عن مدرسة product اسمها iReady, وبيعلموا مثلا الأولاد بياخدوا Diagnostic Assessment, بيعلمون math, بيعلمون English. So I really loved the program. كيف تساعد الأولاد. إنه أنا لما كنت بالمدرسة I would love to have a program like that. So قد ما حبيته I applied and I got the job. So now working for them, what you do is you train teachers, but you go to different school districts and you train those teachers. So it allows me to not only be in one building, but to be in many districts across the whole Northeast, and we were doing the Midwest too. So I did that for 2 years and I became a manager. So now I have a team of about 23 people who go to schools and then they do the trainings.
Oh, damn.
So I work very closely with like principals, superintendents. I come up with plans for them and how they can use our program. So then when we go into the schools, we can teach them how to use the math program, how to teach math, how to use our reading program, how to teach reading. And then my specialists go into different places and then they give them like support and then they train the teachers. So it's fun.
That's interesting. Definitely way different than what we're used to, at least نحن. That's
like,
awesome.
أنا هلا now that he mentioned هالنقطة تذكرت شغلة بشوفها بلبنان بالrecent years. اوكي صرت حس العالم يلي جربوا يوصلوا على مطرح معين ان كان بالانجينيرينج او what plays around engineering وما كتير مشي حالهم من ورا job opportunities, من ورا يمكن their skills او شيء, صاروا يعملوا high school teachers. يعني بعرف ناس عملوا engineering ما لقوا شغل, يلا بنعلم math بالهاي سكول هيدا. which brings me to النقطة اللي بعدها اللي هي انه بيتاخد school teacher كان middle school كان high school so lightly هيدا الجوب so lightly, while هو البيس. يعني إذا عن جد بدك تقلبها على الانجينيرينج, ما أنت أول شيء بتقوي البيس تبعك بتجي هيدا. بذات الوقت I have my parents, أنا اثنيناتهم high school teachers, كل واحد له 30-40 سنة بيعلموا. بتلاقي إنه قديش هن بيدفعوا لهم, قديش الريورد تبعولهم super demotivating. while هول العالم يلي should motivate them تيضلوا عم بيعطوا to perform at their best, لأنه هيدا هو الفيوتشر يعني.
It's an essential job يعني.
ايه فهلا عم بيقول لي انه هو شغلته to teach how to teach, which is basically يعني that's it يعني.
ما انت you hit it right on. لو في اجي اعطيك بوسه هلا.
العالم بس
العالم شو بيفكروا مثلا انه I'm an engineer for example. اوكي ما في شغل, خليني اروح اعلم. انه بيفكروا التعليم انه خليني افتح كتاب وخليني اعمل هالدرس مع الاولاد. بس هلا ما تفكر الواحد, we call it college and career ready. College and career ready معناتها you have to be able to manipulate situations and be a problem solvers. ما فيك مثلا تحط calculation على البورد and say to the kids, alright now عمل هالبروبلم 500 مرة وهي worksheet and fill it out. ليش العالم بيكرهوا المات؟ وفي غير نحن اللبنانيين بنحب المات. في عالم بيكرهوا الماء نصنا ما بعرف. Do you like math?
هلا بنحكي بالماث.
It's one of the ones I don't have problems.
You don't have problems with it.
I don't have problems, بس هلا بقول لك ليه ما بحب الماث.
في عالم ما بيحبوا الماث لأنه كلها memorizations and it's called drill and kill. So بتحكي مع عالم هون بأمريكا ليش ما بتحب الماث؟ إنه بتسمع من الأهل, بتسمع إنه أولاد ما بيحبوش الماث, إنه كيف كانوا معلمين الماث إنه كله memorization. Drill and kill, memorize. Multiplication table, exactly. هلا شو عم نجرب نعمل with college and career readiness standards إنه تعلم الأولاد يكونوا problem solvers. هيك معناتها مجرد memorize math, but be a problem solver and think flexibly about it. So أنا مثلا Vera makes fun of me all the time. I don't memorize my multiplication facts. And she's like, how are you a math teacher? I'm like, I don't care. I'm a problem solver. So مثلا إذا فكر 6 times 8. How many people memorize 6 times 8? 48. Okay, we get it. بس الواحد لما يكون flexible thinker بيفكر أنا ما بتذكر 6 times 8 بس بتذكر 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24 and I know 4 and 8. That's double. So I can double that.
Right.
That's flexible thinking. So I'm تعلم الأولاد تيكونوا problem solvers تمشين carry that to whatever career they want to do. Not hate math. My fucker would be numbers and be like, I can't do this and run away from it. So
I can just use my calculator with like my son.
That's not problem solving.
that's not a problem solving.
Asan, when you know how to teach something properly, it shows that you really understanding. And doing something well is something, but teaching something well is elite level. يعني. It's completely.
For me, it's something else. يعني based on experience إنه الناس اللي علموني throughout my life إن كان بالهاي سكول أو بالجامعة بتحس إنه مش يمكن مش أشطر حدا هو بهالفيلد هو يلي قدر أحسن شيء علمني. It's not necessarily هم عنده way to teach me مزبوط.
إنه مش
لأنه معقول
مش
أشطر حدا يكون
كوتش لاعب NBA.
صح exactly يعني عنده
coach.
way فهيك بس speaking of math أنا ما بحبه بالماث بالعكس لا أنا كنت كتير شاطر وكتير بحب الماث بس وصلت again ما بعرف إذا أنت you had a different experience بلبنان بس وصلت لمطرح إنه بلبنان مفروض التلميذ بس يكون شاطر بالماث إذا ما إنه شاطر بالماث هذا ما إنه منيح هذا ما التلميذ مش شاطر نبعته على ننزله levels يعني which is إنه
math was elite then عندك biology then عندك the social studies which is absurd إذا تفكر فيها يعني.
هي هيك is it like that?
Not really. هون بتلاقي أولاد إنه they're stronger in reading than they are in math. إنه let's start with elementary schools. المعلمين اللي بيعلموا elementary schools a lot of their background is in reading. إنه بيعرفوا كيف يعلموا الأولاد كيف يقروا. So they're more comfortable in that. Their math they're not that comfortable. So هن بيعلموا كيف هن كانوا متعلمين. So أنا مثلا إذا I teach 4th grade وكيف علموني الأساتذة when I was in 4th grade إنه to memorize. So أنا لما أعلم أولادي I'm going to teach them how to memorize. So but reading is different the way that you teach it. So it's not really elite. What happens is in our society is that you've got people who are teaching math, for example, the way that they were taught. And that might not necessarily be the best way to teach it. Not anymore. Because again, you have to be flexible in your thinking. You have to be a problem solver, not a person who just memorizes.
Right. Like, I probably say it to many guests, but why don't you start your own YouTube channel about that stuff?
My own YouTube channel?
Yeah, I'm serious. I know.
مفيش وقت, bro.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, obviously.
You want to help me?
I can. Well, I can help you. But still, I know. Like this message that you're putting out there is very important.
Yeah.
So obviously you're teaching people to put out that message, but that you could do it at scale, which is on the internet. Then you can make a bigger impact. You don't have, you can do it anytime.
Yeah.
You can do it in 10 years. You can do it whenever. But once you have the time, many people can benefit.
Yeah.
Like even teaching them how to actually do math instead of memorize math. Like this is هلا واحدة many college students or even elementary school or high school students would want to learn it.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to learn it أنا كنت بالمدرسة صراحة.
That's why I'm passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
مشان هيك أنا بروح على نيويورك وبروح على Massachusetts I have districts all around. Then I'm able to spread that message and I'm able to help.
Right.
كيف?
But that's why I suggested. And you do seem passionate about it. Just do it talking to the camera. نفس الشيء مثل ما بنعمل هلا. Exactly يعني.
Yeah.
ولا. TikTok.
فيك بلش
TikTok is big. Listen, I did a couple of reels of my son. I got 10,000 views. It's a good start.
والله يلا عظيم.
بس مش أنت يمكن هو your son.
Oh, my 100% my son.
طيب أنا I have a question.
شنو about
قد إيه من القصص يلي you apply so أنت you focus on math teaching how to teach math basically.
Math and reading.
Okay. قد إيه من هول القصص can be applied to any type of teaching. إن كان بالسكول أو في widen it يعني أكتر يمكن music يمكن judo whatever يعني.
That's a good question.
Or if let's say I want to teach someone on my YouTube about whatever. how can I teach them better? Is that your question? هذا سؤالك يعني.
ممكن انه how قديش من هول القصص اللي هو بيعملها بالذات قد كان بي applied على كل every type of teaching basically.
So you have to think about it from the approach of, so I look at it in two different ways. Number one, relationship building, and then number two, best practices. So we'll start with relationship building. In order for, especially like students, to learn from teachers, you have to build relationships. There has to be trust. So, إذا أنت مثلا عم تعمل YouTube channel, بدك العالم يحضروك لأنه they trust you. They trust the information you're putting out, and they want more. Same thing when you're teaching in a classroom. بدك الأساتذة build a relationship with you. أنا لما جيت كان عمري 12 سنة بلبنان, it was all just transactional. بالمدرسة, sit in rows, do what you need to do, submit your paper. عندنا فحص بآخر الجمعة, do الفحص, عندنا تقديم. Okay, everybody's done. That's it. It was transactional. هون شو عم نعلم الأساتذة is to build relationships. لأنه a student has to feel comfortable in an environment and build a learning culture. I have to feel like my thoughts and ideas are honored. So if you're translating it for your YouTube channel, for example, when you're connecting with them, when you're responding to comments, when you're building more videos based on comments and based on me, it's like, hey, what do you guys want to hear next? Let me build that based on that topic. You're a person that's responsive. You're building a relationship with your people. That's the same thing that can be in a classroom. A teacher is honoring the thoughts and ideas of every student, not just their own thoughts.
Right.
So if Eves thinks one way, if I'm doing multiplication with Eves, and Eves, I want to do repeated addition. I don't want to do 6 times 4. I want to do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, and that's how I function. That's okay. You can do that. But you could memorize 6 times 4. That's totally fine. I'm honoring both of your thoughts, and I'm building on it, and I'm making connections.
Right.
So you have to feel honored. The second thing is what we call as best practices. The way that we transadapt basically from one subject to another is there's a core of principles that allow teaching to take place in a more meaningful way. That's having kids have conversations with each other. That's asking questions that promote higher order thinking. That's helping kids kind of like productively struggle. So like if you're looking at a problem, you're like, I don't know how to do this. Instead of me coming immediately and saying, here, give me your pencil, Eves, here's how you do it, is I'm helping guide you through certain steps so you can get to what you need to do. So there are certain principles that can be carried in different subject areas that are around conversations and questionings and productive struggle, for example, that again goes back to my first point, which is honoring the thinking of the kids and building a learning culture for them.
Right. طب how is something like that doable? يعني أنت عندك تبير 20 شخص بالصف.
Yeah.
وكل واحد بيفكر بشي طريقة. Okay, maybe 5 بيفكروا مثل بعض و another 3 مثل بعض و 10 مثل بعض. How can you tailor كل شيء or everything you teach them to be tailored to each person specifically?
By our ready product.
The product is ready.
The product is, so we'll start with the assessment. There's
شيء affiliate link حتى
cue the iReady platform. The diagnostic assessment, which is really important because you think about testing. Our diagnostic basically diagnoses where the kids are with their skills. And what we give teachers is basically a report of, based on this skill that I'm about to teach, here are your kids that know this, 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 and this. Here are the kids that don't. Here are the kids. So you're automatically coming into this lesson already knowing what prerequisites the kids have and what prerequisites the kids don't. So it allows you to group accordingly and support as much as possible.
Okay.
So, and you give them within the curriculum flexibility to support every single kid where they are to help them reach the ultimate goal. So yes, all these kids are going to be different places, but what's your ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is the skill of the grade level, the standard.
And they get different exams مثلا or different based on that?
No, because what's your ultimate goal is the grade level standard.
Where they get there is different.
The way that you get there is different. You hit it right on.
I see.
Now, in the past, the way we were taught math is, I need you to get here, and here's what you need to do, and everyone's going to follow the same stairs.
Exactly.
Now, I need you to get here, which is your grade level standards. That's the only way I can make sure that you are learning to move forward to the next grade level. But the way that you get there is going to be completely up to you, and it's my job to help you get there.
This is what I hated about it. This punishes you to be creative. يعني this punishes creativity لأنه there's only one answer and there's only one way to get.
We used to be penalized على كل يعني على الغلطة throughout إذا عملتها.
Show your work. So بتفرج شغلك وإذا عملت step تاني مع إنه نفس الريزلت it's wrong برأيهم. So لا very interesting. لازم نرجع نفوت على المدرسة.
شكله هيك بنعيد من الأول.
أنا مزبوط.
ميل.
طب like let's jump to the other endeavor you have, which is real estate.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
So real estate, I went out on paternity leave this past year, and I've always wanted to do real estate, but I never got into it because I'm like, it's going to take so long. Like, you have to do all these courses. I'm like, I don't know who has time to sit here and study. So I had my paternity leave. I was watching AJ, and I was like, it was December. I turned to Vera. I was like, what if I got my real estate license? She was like, that's something I've wanted to do. I was like, well, you could do it with me. I don't know. But I have the time, so I'm going to do it. So I got into this crash course. It was about 3-week course, and I took the test, and I passed. I was like, oh, shit, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So I've always been passionate because I've always wanted to, like, again, what's my goal? My goal is to eventually, like, when my family comes, my brother-in-law is really good at being handy. He renovates. He knows how to do construction. My ultimate goal is for him and I to enter into a side hustle of buying, renovating, renting. But I don't want to always rely on a real estate agent to help me find places. I want to have that power myself.
Right.
So again, my goal was to get there. How did I get there? Got through the crash course, got into it, and then, you know, I've been doing it now for, I got into this in January, so 6 months. So the problem is my full-time job, because I'm a manager, it takes up a lot of my time. So real estate has taken the back seat right now. I was dabbling in it, but I'm always doing like research and educational things because that's more interesting for me than buying and selling houses right now or helping people do so. What I do want to do is I'm passionate about helping people and educating them about the market and real estate so that they don't go and put really horrible offers, or if they want to sell their home, they don't do it and cut themselves dry. You know, like I want to educate them on that.
You see where this is going, right?
Where?
It's going back to creating content. Well, you can help more people. I know you don't have time. I'm just trying to like, but no. Well, if this is clearly you love educating people.
Yeah.
Whether it's about this, whether about literally education, or whether it's about real estate, that's your vehicle to get there to the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And you can make a shit ton of money with doing that as well.
At some point أكيد فيك. Like Tony, I have a question. شو يعني ما بعرف قديش فيك تفوت into details. A to Z process to buy a house. How do you start? How do you end up? يعني كيف تخلص?
So are you talking from a buyer side or a real estate agent?
Buyer.
From a buyer side. Okay. So a couple ways. You can do your own research and find your own home. Or you can get a real estate agent like me and you kind of explain what your criteria, what you're looking for, the area you're looking for, your budget. You get pre-approval from a trusted loan company. For example, if you're not going to be paying cash, you know you're going to be taking out a mortgage. So you see based on your finances, your expenses, how much you are pre-qualified, basically. And it's the biggest word there's pre-qualified. It doesn't mean you're necessarily qualified yet. You're pre-qualified to take out a loan to be able to afford a home. So you go to a real estate agent like myself and say, hey, I'm really interested in buying a single family home. I'm really interested in investing in one multifamily home. Here's my budget. Here's my criteria. Now, people who are looking for multifamilies, their criteria is obviously I want to look at my net operating income and my cap rate. I could talk about those. So they set a limit basically of what they want to spend, how much the money they want to make back. Or you have somebody who's like, I want to buy a single family, I want to live in it, it has to have a pool, has to have a renovated kitchen, like, or get me whatever and I'll do the renovations myself. So like you're kind of building a relationship, like what is it that you want? And you rely on someone like me to find the best place possible that fits your criteria, fits your budget and everything. And then obviously you go, you take a look at it, you see if this is something that you want, and then let's say you have your eyes set on a single family. We'll start there. The agent basically then gives you comps of what we think would be the best offer to put on a house. Now you have to look at market trends, you have to look at the neighborhood, you have to look at other homes, you have to look at the condition of the home, all that stuff. And then you're like, okay, I've got my eyes set on this, we've looked at the comps, this is the price I want to put in, boom, done. Now from there, this is where you really need a really good agent because they guide you through different processes throughout to make sure you get to the finish line. Your finish line is to sit at the table in the lawyer's office signing your deed, signing everything, the house is yours, right? To get there, you got to do inspection. And then right now what's happening in the market is people are waiving inspections because they're trying to be competitive. They're like, we'll waive inspections. We don't care. Because you have so many people that are putting offers on homes.
Okay.
They're trying to set themselves apart. Right? But I always tell people, like, you can waive inspections, but you can still do inspections. Like, you don't have to have a contingency with a lawyer and say, oh, based on the inspection, we can waive that. That's fine. But for your sake,
Just doing
for
it.
your safe
For your
mind,
own-
do an
for your own
inspection
sake,
for your own
yeah.
sake. Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you could renovate things yourself, then that's totally fine. Like for me, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do an
Of
inspection.
course, man.
Because like I could renovate things myself, so I'm fine with that. I know what to look for, but there are some people who don't. So you have to go through that process. You have to go through like you have to look at codes. You have to make sure that everything is up to date for that house. You have to make sure that that the sellers have basically signed disclosure agreements of like things that might be wrong with the house. Like you have to understand all of these processes all the way through until you get to the point of closing. But you got to have people to educate you on that process. Like one of the reasons why I wanted to become a real estate agent is I wasn't educated on that when I bought my home. So I had to do all that myself. So all my real estate agent really did was just like show me the home, saw them at the closing table, gave them a check, and then that was it. I'm like, really?
He got his commission.
You're nothing. You know what I mean?
Is it necessary to buy a home through a real estate agent? يعني أنا إذا بدي أشتري بيت, unless I make a deal with the homeowner, I have to. So, let's say all you did was refer me to this house. You're getting a commission anyway. Even
As
that's what.
As
that's
your buyer's agent,
Eh,
if I showed you the home, we could sign like a buyer's agreement.
okay.
I could show you the home, and you can try to put an offer yourself, but you still want. The biggest thing that I suggest to clients is that you always want to make sure you have a lawyer involved, because there's so many nuances that are involved in this process. You want a lawyer to be able to look at documents and is able to guide you through the necessary requirements, like when it comes to like the deeds, when it comes to like all of those things. You need someone to shepherd you through that process. To do it yourself is a little difficult unless you really understand it. That's a different
I
process.
see. Gotcha. هذا آيس كريم ترك حدا بده؟
Julian,
لا صف هون يا
رف صف هون.
جيب لي كورنيش شوكولا please.
I wonder إذا بنسمع على لهون.
لا مسموع بيقطع
Anyway.
They're probably like, where's the ice cream truck?
وهذا الشيء اصلا نحن بلبنان ما بنشوفه غير بالموفيز. انا ماني شايف ايس كريم تراك بلبنان
أنا
صراحه.
مرة شايف ice cream truck.
نحن شو
انت شايف شيء
our attention span عظيم.
Ice cream truck.
نحن نزلنا لعنده.
Tree.
اعطيني جوليان اذا جبنا شيء بعد ما نهز.
Cool.
Why not?
Real estate is interesting.
قد ايه هلا correct me if I'm wrong بس انه انا عم بسمع بتعرف نحن هون كلنا اذا بدك سيم بوت شيء عم بيجرب يغير بيت لانه كلنا ليس موست اوف اس عرفت كيف وكثير غليوا الاسعار وهيك. قد ايه هالشيء كان applicable على buying a home وقد ايه اثر انت at least from your end على قديش في عالم عم willing يشتروا او ما بدهم يشتروا او they're leaning towards flipping او ما بعرف يعني.
I'll talk about renting versus buying. It's a slippery
هذا
slope.
موضوع بحبه كثير.
هذا بيحبه كتير. هذا renter هون هذا.
Always.
Always.
Forever.
The cheapest thing to do right now is obviously rent. That makes perfect sense. I rented I started renting I was 21. Got married. 8 years.
بنقول له اذا بده يصف هون.
ما بعرف حول.
الانستا تبعه على التراك عم فكر يبعث له DM.
So I did the calculations. Anna, I rented. Vera, she rented. Eva, she rented. Right. So like I did the calculations. How much together the three of us wasted money on rent in 8 years?
Wasted?
Wasted.
No, you can't say wasted.
It's a big word.
It gives you.
خلي زوجها قال روح.
خليني
ما
أخلص.
هي
$250,000.
Okay.
I'm not even joking. Do
Sure.
the math. $250,000 went to waste because I made someone else rich off of my money. Now here's where you don't agree with me. That's okay. we can have man.
حكيين قبل مخلصين هذا الموضوع.
والله ما
شكل
حكينا.
عيونك الحلوين هيك عم يطلعوا فيا. أنا لو حدا علمني أنا وصغير أنا when I graduated college روح اشتري شقة a condo I don't care what it is. Even though إذا اشتريت condo for example and then I want to move out of it, my rent and the mortgage of the condo even themselves out, or even if I make $100 or $200 whatever, there's someone else that's paying my mortgage along the way. So I can move somewhere else and I have real estate. The biggest thing that I am very passionate about when it comes to like what we could own on this earth is real estate, land. Because you're not making more land. You're not making more real estate. So you want to get your hands on property. That's like gold. That's like gold for me. Because I know that I can eventually flip it. I can eventually rent it. But I want to have property under my name. Right? Like that to me is more ideal than money and savings. I want it in property. Now, what do I say rent? Rent is cheaper, 100%, because you have home expenses. But when you look at the long run, when you're paying money for someone else, like let's say I buy a home and you're renting from me, you're making me rich. Versus you paying that money towards equity and income for your own property that you're going to own down the line for yourself or for your family. That you can eventually pass down, or you can rent out, or you can resell. And look what's happening right now. I did a mistake in Connecticut before I moved to New Jersey. I had an opportunity to buy a multifamily. And I listened to people that did not have my best interest. That multifamily was going to cost me $300,000, and it was fully rented. I was like, easy money. Why not? My net operating income is going to be perfect, 10%, when I look at the cap rate. So I look at that home now, it almost doubled its price. You never know how the market's going to react. So when you're putting money towards rent, you're seeing nothing out of it coming out. But you're putting money into property that you own. I could have eventually refinanced that home and took out that equity line and bought another home. But I listened to someone and said, oh, you know what? Yeah, I should just rent and not worry about having a home and pay a mortgage for a home. That's one of my biggest regrets is not going for that multifamily.
Okay, let's dial back to the waste word. The reason why I don't call it the waste is that you're paying to sleep somewhere. So technically it's not a waste. And you need to pay anyway to live somewhere, whether that's in the form of mortgage or rent. You're paying that money.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I pick rent over buying just is based on the opportunity cost. And I would rather invest in something else. Now, what you were going to do with a multifamily home is amazing. It's an investment, which I agree with 1,000,000%. But once you live in the house you own, it's no longer an investment. It's a liability because you're paying it more than it's paying you, which is the definition of a liability. صح? And this is where I'm مش against buying. Obviously, there are way more reasons than just monetary reasons to buy a house. There are more reasons. But from a monetary perspective, من ناحية المصاري, this is why I go for renting. لأنه I know investing some other place that's more liquid, and obviously you know how liquid the real estate is. Maybe it's way more liquid لأنه كل العالم بدها تشتري. بس إنه I would rather be able to عايز مصاري هلا بوب liquidate. I have cash ready now. مش يعني أحطهم ب savings obviously. إذا بشوف my savings account بتفهم علي. إنه my savings is not. I don't save. I prefer investing them. عرفت؟ While investing in a property that's going to pay you money monthly, fuck yeah. That's an investment. But living in it at the same time, maybe you get another benefit. خي عندك راحة بال إن أنت عندك بيتك بتحب أنت تغير كل شيء بالبيت تعمله على ذوقك. Great. بس from an investment point of view, this is not an investment anymore. هلا you're going to argue, or you might argue that من هلا ل10 سنين بيغلى حقه فيه يبيعه إذا بده. Sure. بس things can go wrong in the meantime. يعني من هلا ل10 سنين في يقشط سعره number 1. number 2 في يخرب شيء إذا خرب مثلا شو بعرفني roof, it's like 10 grand, right, to repair the roof or
10, 20
no, something like no 20 grand is what I pay in rent the whole year if you think about it. This is what I think about technically. So sure, but at the end of the day أنت عم بيكون عندك equity in a home, أنا ما بيكون عندي شيء. بس the point is مش إنه rent وخلاص, بس إنه rent while utilizing the money you would otherwise spend on buying a house to growing that money some other place. Makes sense?
It does. I have comments, but I think Yves has something first before I respond.
No, I have
to
just
that.
that's a question. No, what if you don't have anything else to invest in? يعني أنت قلت إنه اتفقنا إنه savings شو بدنا savings كلنا متفقين على إنه savings بطاطا. أوكي.
كيف ما بدي يكون عندك خير invest?
إيه.
How would you not have something else to invest in?
Not everyone understands how to invest.
إيه ما هالفكرة إنه
not everyone understands how to invest.
Sure بس إنه investment
مش عمول ما في بالحياة I'm sure في
stocks or crypto.
But that's the thing that إذا بدك logical / safe to many people that don't have the skills and the time يشوفوا بشو to invest
I
شي
don't
تاني.
think it's safe, man. Personally, أنا بدي أعلق حالي ب 30-year loan or mortgage, right? Which are the standard rate, 15 or 30. 30 makes more sense, right? 30 years, man. Committing to paying something for 30 years, this doesn't sound safe to me.
Isn't that what you're doing when you're renting?
No, you're not. So
Where are you gonna live in?
So-
In a car?
you're صح. Sure. But you're paying more when it comes to, and for example, I don't pay property tax. That's, what is it in Jersey, like 2% or
هلا
some shit?
أنا بالنسبة لي واحد بده يكون بمطرح logical بحياته يشتري بيت. مش إنه أنا هلا ما في
بس
أفكر
انت
اشتري بيت.
انت بتعرف سنة الجاي شو بيصير؟ ما بتعرف.
لا،
بتعرف اللي
بس-
بعدها شو بيصير؟ لا
أكيد لا.
من هلا ل 30 years في another pandemic can hit, right? And then they decide انه انت ما فيك تشتغل unless تحط شيء بايدك،
Yeah.
وانت ما بدك تحط شيء بايدك او whatever، و you're out of your job. How are you gonna pay it? Sure, renting is the same.
Where are you gonna
But
live?
at least they're not gonna take something that I paid for 10 years. واخر شيء اخذوا مني البنك لانه I couldn't pay anymore.
Yeah.
This would suck, wouldn't it?
Well, sure.
Because بيروحوا المصريات, right? إنه you don't get any. Do you get any of the money you put in back for?
If you claim bankruptcy?
Yeah, as a.
I mean, it depends.
If you foreclose the house. Or
It depends
Okay.
on how you do your foreclosure.
Mm.
You can do like short sale.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing. You're thinking like scared money is what you're doing. Is you're thinking of what if this happens, I'm out of this, and what if this happens, and so that doesn't happen to a lot of people like us who are very driven and have careers. I could see that happening with people who might not have a college degree or something to rely back on that opens up doors and opportunities for work for them. So that to me never crossed my mind. It was like, what if God forbid I ever lost my job and I can't afford a mortgage? Right? Like I have, thank God, I would have enough money to back me up. I have degrees that I'm able to go
Skills.
find skills.
Sure,
I can go find
sorry,
something.
just gonna pause you real quick. I started my debate saying no, I don't do it just for the opportunity cost. When Eve said it's a safe investment, I'm arguing the safe part. That's not why I don't buy a house. I know I.
Okay, we'll ignore Eve's part. Let me go back to
Like,
لا بس روح هونيك.
بس عم لك why I'm giving this perspective. يعني.
But let's put math to it.
Sure.
Right? Do you feel comfortable telling me how much you pay for rent? And
So-
by the way, I'm not doing this for me to be a real estate agent. I'm doing this because you're my friend. I love you, and I'm just
لا شو
I'm
بالعكس.
just talking about
بالعكس
market.
man شو
You know what I mean?
So قول 2 grand total حق البيت. اعتبر انا عايش وحده وعم بدفع كل الرنت 2000.
Okay. مرة واحدة عم تدفع $2,000.
اعتبر اذا انا عايش وحده.
Okay. So إذا مثلا رحت جبت condo. Okay. Right now they're going for I don't know $260,000. Okay. I don't know how much money you would want to put down, mortgage, whatever, but you're looking anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000. If let's say you put 20% down, right now with the interest rates 5.6, 5.7, the way that they're hovering over, so you're looking at all right. So that sure.
شيء 40,000 يعني down.
Well, it depends. If you want to do 20%, yeah, تحط 40,000. Okay, so that deducts it. But there's a lot of programs out there you can put 5% down,
Sure.
but 3% down. All right, so let's say you got all that down. You've taken care of all of it. Okay. Right now, you start paying, let's say $2,000 a month. You took out a loan. Let's say you put 20% down of $220,000.
Sorry, 2,000 including everything يعني mortgage plus insurance plus property tax يعني.
Yes.
هاي آخر شيء عم بدفعه.
Correct.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So for condos, your tax is not going to be that much, 4,000, 5,000. Like you're not buying a house that exactly. You're not buying a home that has taxes like $10,000.
Okay.
So you have to. That's why again, you have to be very safe with which area you want to move to. You might tell someone, I don't want something with high property taxes. Okay, so you're not going to move to North Brunswick. Okay, like you want something that has lower taxes. We get that. New Jersey has very high taxes.
Yep.
But the point I'm trying to make is that $2,000 you're putting. Okay, let's talk about the two pathways. Let's talk about Eves. Eves is renting, is paying $2,000. Let's talk about Alain, who just bought a condo, is putting $2,000.
ولا ممكن man.
Huh?
خي أنا بشتري
ولا ممكن.
Hey, flip it.
أنا
Jesus.
بشتري.
Hey, thank you. Eves bought the home.
بمزح guys.
Eves bought the home. Alain is renting. Okay, $2,000. Eves owes has a loan for $220,000. Okay, Alain is renting from some douchebag. I don't know who he is.
ليش ايه ده من الرنت
ايه ده ما بقى اوكي شو اسمه جبران $2,000. Okay, Alain pays $2,000. Here's Alain. Okay, here's Eves 2,000 2,000, 2,000, 2,000.
Come
Here's
on,
Alan.
like,
Here's Alan right here.
Yep.
So what you're doing is you're paying $2,000. Basically, you're giving me $2,000 and I'm putting it in the trash. You're working towards nothing.
Sure.
Eves is working towards a credit line. The credit line is making equity in his home. So the $220,000 loan that he took out, he's paying $2,000 towards it. If later down the line he wants to refinance, if later down the line he wants to sell his, he doesn't have to. But the end goal is whatever money he's putting towards equity of a property that he owns, which eventually later down the line he could take out a loan against his own equity line. He could refinance, make that money back. He could sell that home.
Sure.
He could rent it to somebody else and they could start paying it for him. There's a big difference between Eves and where he's heading and where you heading, which is $2,000 every month.
Sure.
That's going towards nothing.
Sure.
هلا you in specific انت في plans في bigger plans براسك لهدول
Right. أنا that's my
اللي عم
argument.
بتوفر انت شخصيا
صح.
which is مش rare بس انه
بس هو عم بيفكر بالتوفير انه how much it costs to maintain a home. Okay, it doesn't cost that much. Like, let's say you were to put down 3% when you buy the home. That's $6,000. Okay. That's $6,000 you have to put aside for closing costs. Add a couple more for like lawyer fees and all that stuff. All right, let's say $8,000 max. That's your closing costs. That's all in. Then it starts becoming $2,000, $2,000, $2,000. That's your mortgage, your interest, your taxes, right? That's all part of it. But the thing that I'm trying to say is that people worry so much about buying homes because it has high cost rates. How often are you replacing a roof? 20 years? So do the math. After 20 years, how much have you paid? 224,000 multiplied that with 20.
240.
448,000? Like something like that? You know, like, and then the home itself, you don't always have, like, people get worried about these things that could break. Like a furnace. Oh my God, a furnace broke. $5,000. They're not that expensive.
Sure.
But people get so scared of home expenses because they're not educated on what they truly cost.
Right. صح. Like, I'm with you. أنا معك. But what I dislike about this is that they say, you know, okay, you want to start investing in something easy and simple, do real estate. But
Yeah.
in fact, it's hard. يعني مش إنه it's hard. No, you can learn anything. But in fact, you can make more money doing something. So, okay, because obviously you're not going to become super filthy rich in 5 years doing real estate. But you can become filthy rich in 5 years. Let's not say crypto or stocks. You can learn a skill for 5 years, build a company. You can start generating a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Then when you have enough money, then start buying property and rent it out and buy the big ass properties with 10 units or whatever. Yeah. This is the way I would do it. عرفت? And again, برجع بشدد انه I'm not against buying. I just think the way people advertise انه hey, you should buy هلا لانه when you rent you're wasting money. انا بشوفها لا انه انا بقول وقت I tie up that much money in a house, this is me wasting money versus not wasting money. It's just I could probably utilize the money somewhere else, which would compound more.
I mean that's where the math comes in, right? Like I talked earlier about cap rates and net operating income, right? That's where you have to do the math. When you think about a multifamily, for example, a really good investment of a multifamily is to take the rental money that I'm going to make, subtract the expenses, and look at what my net operating income is going to be for a year. Okay? When I divide that by the total price of what I bought my rental property, that's my cap rate. You want to hover anywhere from 4 to 10%. So, for example, if I bought a rental property and I made $45,000 in a year because of the income that I'm making because I'm renting it out. Even if I lived in one unit and rented the other one, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Or I rented both.
House hacking.
Yeah. So you look at that, and then you look at what my expenses are. Your expenses could be taxes, could be your expenses, whatever it is, right? You deduct that. Let's say your expenses are $15,000. So now you're down to $30,000. Let's say you bought that multifamily for $300,000. $30,000 divided by 300,000, you're at 10% cap rate. That's a healthy cap rate. That's a healthy return of investment. So it all comes down to the math. If you did that math and you were at 2%, then yeah, it's a horrible buy. But the numbers don't lie. I think the biggest thing is the people who enjoy real estate, is they see things more logically and more abstract. They're able to put their hands on it versus like crypto, for example, or stocks. Like I never get that because like it's just so like it's so like I don't understand it.
Right.
And it's not something I can put my fingers on.
فهمت. انت since you're a math guy اكيد obviously you prefer having something calculated.
For me no, both of you guys مثل ما دايما بجرب انه اوصل
ابعتوا
لمطرح moderate بالنص انه whatever you do just be smart about it. يعني اذا انت شوي ضد الريل استيت او منك قادر تفوت بالريل استيت you're renting هيدا just be smart about it. يعني فكر انه okay I'm renting بس there's more to it.
صح.
It's an opportunity يمكن to save أو it's an opportunity to invest in something يمكن صغير يمكن ما إنه بقياس real estate بس it's an opportunity لأنه ما عندي هلا الworrying تبع إنه عندي property. وقال إذا أنت فت ب property كمان be smart about it ما تكون إنه عندي خلاص.
I was about to say that إنه many people بس بدهم يشتروا بيت حتى first home. I don't know if you know that I'm sure مرق عليك بس they shoot for the moon إنه three car garage و 5 bedrooms حيصير عندي أولاد ومن شو they buy their dream house أول بيت. Well, this is when the real problem arises. إنه they overpaid by a lot and this is it's unfortunate يعني بتحط حالك بsituation كثير بشع versus slowly buying a small one or whatever then rent it out, move to another one, buy another one or whatever.
Correct.
You guys do so. No, I'm not against it, that's for sure. But I just have a different perspective on it.
Talk into it. I'll give you my card after.
So, guys, I think we can wrap up on that note, right?
لا بعدنا شوي.
بعد شوي؟ Okay.
لا أنا أصلاً
بعدك شيء تقوله أصلاً.
أنا
بتعرف ليش تحمست أنا بس قال لي my card كان بدي دغري أعمل advertisement عنه والله that's why.
لا actually إذا ما بكون بقطعكم عن real estate عندي سؤال بدي أسأله بس إذا في شيء حدا بيزيد comment عن real estate والrenting والbuying
أنا راح أشتري after this.
خلاص that's it.
No more.
طيب توني أنا شفت من يومين على إنستغرام كان عيد AJ 1 year right what like having a baby being a father what شو بتغير بحياتك يعني شو ما بعرف نحن في وقت to experience هالشي if we ever do بس إنه
man هالشي بيغيرك. أنا واحد ربيت بلا باي so كل عمري إنه I yearn for that love of a father and a son. عرفت كيف؟ So when we got pregnant and I knew it was going to be a boy, I was like, holy smokes. Like everything that I wanted to do with my dad, I can now start building that with my son. And it's the most beautiful, and it could be with a daughter too. Like whatever God gave us, it's beautiful. But just like knowing that there's this small creature that is depending on you for the rest of your life, and you're building this bond, and you're seeing them grow from day one to like now he's 1 year and 3 days. Like it's just amazing to see. Like the transformation that he goes through, the learning that he's doing, the personality that he's taking on. It's just so beautiful. And even if it was a daughter, like I would still feel, like I told Vera, I was like, God willing, I want the next one to be a girl. But for some reason, God gave us a boy for the first one because I wanted that connection with a father-son bond, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would do this all over again and again and again and again.
That's awesome, man.
a day you felt ready قبله أو you never felt ready أو you still don't feel ready.
أنا قبل ما أحكي توني ترى أنا بحس توني has been ready for a while.
Been ready,
كان على طول يحكي عن الموضوع بتذكر إنه it's something it's his goal يعني.
Man, the only thing I wasn't ready for is financially. لما يبلش بيعاني بالمدرسة ما بيطلعوا أنت you talked about it ما بيطلعوا مصاري على قد. So I needed to get into a stage in my life that I was financially stable. My ultimate goal is to give the best life possible for my kids and for my wife. I don't care about cars. I don't care about clothes. I wear 3-year-old clothes. I don't freaking care. I care about creating the best life possible for them because I didn't have that, right? So I needed to be mature enough mentally and financially to know that when I bring someone to this world, I need to be able to provide for them and give them a home and be able to be financially stable to give them everything that they want. everyone's like, when you have a kid, your life is over and financially you can't. They're not that expensive, man. Pampers, diapers are $40. $40. Like, come on, you gotta buy diapers. You gotta do, like, relax. But, and I get it. They're like, oh, you gotta pay for their college. I got 18 years. There's time.
يصير معك 20 مليون.
Guys, there's what? But the biggest thing is, like, I understand where people come from. Like, you don't want to be scraping for cash to try to, like, give them the best life possible. You don't want to be working 24/7. You're missing them growing up. You're missing that first walk. You're missing that first dad. You know what I mean? Like, so I wanted to make sure I was in the right financial kind of, like, stage of my life where I'm able to marry Vera, have a baby, and be able to support the two of them, that if Vera ever decided to not want to work, we could be okay. You know? It's hard for two parents to be working and raise a kid.
Yeah.
Because you have to rely on family, you have to rely on daycare, and right now with daycare and COVID and all these other diseases, you don't know what the hell's going on. So you have to, those decisions you have to weigh. What happens if there's no other support and we have to do this ourselves? How can we manage working and raising a kid? Thank God we both work from home, so we're able to find a system in place.
Yep.
But man, I want more. I want like 4,
Yeah.
5. But the فريق basketball. Speaking of basketball, 11 and lost to Australia.
Oh,
Horrible.
that's
That's Jesus Christ.
That was sad.
بس انه واو
Hey,
يعني.
good
Yeah,
for
they-
them.
Second man.
They proved
Championship.
something nice. يعني بعتقد عطيوا الايمج اللي بدهم يعطوها
Yeah.
even though they lost. يعني it was a sad loss. بس
هذا ميكر يلي مع استراليا apparently مع NBA هو من بيلعب NBA.
لا I'm sure
لعيب.
Yeah. Did you see him?
كسر الدنيا
طوله
يعني.
7'2"
نعم.
man.
كسر الدنيا بس عن جد يعني لبنان proved something يعني عرفت كيف؟
Resilience.
وانا هلا اليوم نزل بوست اليوم شو اسمه علي حيدر بيلعب سنتر بلبنان عم بيشتغل بنجاره. بس انا ما كنت عم فكر بهذا. انا إليشا معون اللي كمان عم بيلعب بالفريق. إليشا معون كان معي بالسيفل. وإليشا معون شفت عندي اياه على لينكد ان اوبسلي. شفت بوست شركه اللي بيشتغل فيها إلي حاطين له بوست انه we are proud of our employee. وفكرت باكزاكتلي اللي البوست اللي حطوه عن علي حيدر انه خي هذا موظف بشركه بيشتغل كونسلتنج يعني بيشتغل للصبح لليل الصبح. وهيز competing on an international level مع باسكتبول تيم. I'm sure like إذا مش كلهم خيّة most of the players مضطرين يشتغلوا شيء تاني.
مظبوط.
وقدروا إنه يوصلوا لفاينل شو خسروا فرق 2 points يعني.
That was
I'm
crazy.
sure الأستراليans إنه أماني بيدفعوا له
أكيد
بيتمرن من الصبح للعشية إنه
Oh, maybe.
they're set يعني.
Yeah, and they get paid well. I mean, they were down 15 points.
Yeah.
well
back.
respect يعني صراحة.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
إذا حدا شايفه إلي إذا شفته خيّة.
Speaking of resilience, رامي شفت رامي my friend.
أوف وكمان هيدا
my friend ركض من دبي على البترون barefoot marathon. 42 kilometers. Yeah, a full marathon.
Sheesh.
عملها و he raised money for cancer patients وهيك so pretty good. والله
Yeah.
we have good highlights.
that day
this week.
وبارح كان هذا وكان في معهم كان في مسلابرون كمان.
كمان.
Oh, Rami,
طبعاً.
your magician friend.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I saw Rami's campaign / post وهيك. It was great يعني كيف.
Yeah, I think he's still collecting donations. إذا بدكم فينا نحط اللينك.
حط لينك بال.
he's a cancer survivor. He wanted to do this initiative to raise money for cancer. Everything is public وهيك. So great.
Yep.
Good for him.
That was a nice episode صراحة. عن جد كثير انبسطت في هذا الابيزود seriously. On that note نحن عاتم بآخر الابيزود. If you have any advice to give to anyone about anything مش ضروري عن شيء حكيناه يعني بالحلقة. حيلا advice لحيلا حدا.
Two things. Be yourself and persevere. No matter what the obstacles are, no matter what you're going through, there's always a way out, and you have to focus. You have to put your foot on the ground. You have to keep moving because no one else is going to do it for you. And you look at these 3 handsome men on this table right here, and nothing was given to us at all. So everything we've done, we earned. Everything we've done, we worked hard for, because if you wait for others to give it to you, it ain't gonna happen. So that's all I got.
Awesome. طيب
That's
لكن
great.
if you're looking to buy a house in the
يا
Jersey
برنا.
area وين Jersey وين كمان بس Jersey ولا
خي حلا جيرسي وين ما بدك.
tri-state area هون
Yeah.
بالإيست كوست you
Tony
know who to reach
Mahfoud.
out to حتى إذا بدكم شيء بالeducation كمان he does consulting calls for $1,000 in half an hour في 300 والبقية لا so لا for real guys reach out if you want سألونا قلنا we can put you in contact
Definitely.
so thanks for coming man it was awesome we
You're
appreciate it
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we do that again
Yeah.
all right
you,
thanks for
Tony.
watching guys
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
bye
Bye.